All right, you're on Business Unusual. It's Newsroom Africa, channel 405. This one is for the job seekers. Now, Business Unusual has been doing this series showing you how to get the job, how to get equipped for the job environment. Now we started by putting together your CV, and then we got ready for that interview. Now that you have the job, how does the organization that you're going to be working for get you onto the business? Khanyi Mhlongo, managing partner, Think Career, joins us now to tell us a little bit more about that. Khanyi, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you for having me.
So then, I've sent the CV, I went for the interview, yay, I got the call. Come, you start on Monday. What's the responsibility of the company to me?
So the responsibility starts before you even start on that Monday. So once you've signed that letter of offer, it's very important from an employer point of view to make sure that they keep you engaged, they keep you informed, and if there's any paperwork that you need to complete and so forth, you start the conversation from then onwards. And also it's an opportunity for the employer to start introducing you to some of your colleagues, introducing you to some of the processes that are done, you know, the culture within the organization, so that come day one, you're not shocked and overwhelmed by PowerPoint presentations and a lot of paperwork to complete. I think what's exciting now in the space of talent management is that a lot of that can be automated. So we've got the technology to actually start to engage new hires prior to them coming on day one. So when you get there on day one, at least you are a lot more familiar with the people that you're going to be working with, a lot more familiar with the culture that you're probably going into. So it's quite important to kick off.
Why is that important, Tim, for the company itself, that this new recruit be taken through this onboarding process?
It's very critical because you want to make sure as an employer that you get the best out of the candidate that you've just hired. The worst thing that you can do is to hire someone and they're still trying to find their feet. So the engagement process is key. If people are engaged, they feel that the organization is ready for them, and this is an environment where they can actually come in, give their best. It actually works for the organization. And the two critical things, it's more around making sure that you don't lose people before they even start, because that costs you a lot of money, as well as making sure that you can retain the talent that you've now sourced. Because from a recruitment point of view, you spend a hell of a lot of time trying to look for that best individual. So when they do come on board, you want to make sure that they fall in love with the organization, as well as can be productive as quickly as possible. Now,
a first-time job seeker might not know of this onboarding process. Well, they do now because they've been watching this show.
Yes.
But if I do, maybe this is not my real first job, it's my second job. Do I ask for it? Can I tell the employer, look, can I come in so that you can do this process? Are they going to think maybe this one is a little bit too forward? Ooh, come down.
I think the beauty about this is that you don't even have to be at the premises. As I mentioned earlier on, you can use email communication to start engaging and completing the admin side of it. I think the one thing that we always confuse with the whole onboarding is around paperwork. Yeah. On day one, you don't still want to be completing a whole lot of forms. On day one, you want to be engaged about what is this company all about, which direction is the company taking. Yeah. So we hope that a lot of organizations actually do that prior, but if they don't, make sure that when you do the onboarding, you do it more effectively. Otherwise,
and straight from that point, I suppose then you're going to spend a large part of the day at HR filling in the forms.
We don't want that.
Oh, you don't want that? Okay. What is it then about organizations that don't have this particular process, and what is it that they can do?
You know, there are simple mechanisms out there. So a simple checklist that you can put in place as an organization to say, once my candidate employee signs that employment offer, what are the things that I need to do prior to them coming on day one? What are the things that I'm going to do when they come on board? First week, first month, first 3 months. You need to have those processes in place to make sure that all the hard work that you've put in place pays off.
Right. Now, somebody like me would get into the office and I'll probably be quiet. I'll probably be afraid to touch the laptop. I'll probably be afraid to ask questions because they're going to think, we just hired you. We thought you knew what you were doing, right? Talk. There's the camera. It's on. Do something.
Yes.
But of course, it's quite important that as my first time on the job, I ask as many questions as possible.
Absolutely. You have to ask a lot of questions. And I think also what's important is for the employer to make sure that you've got a mentor. I don't want to call it a mentor, a coach, or a buddy, but there should be someone allocated to you to help you navigate through the organization, because sometimes you're scared to ask a whole lot of questions. But also the buy-in from your line manager is important. They need to set time aside to engage you, to talk to you about what to expect, and all the, the entire program that would have been set out for you. And also, I think the other thing is around training. A lot of companies would put aside, when you come on board day one, half a day, we take you through paperwork and then hoy you into training. That's not onboarding. I want to understand, what is my role? How does it fit into the bigger picture of the organization? What is my unique contribution? And how do I get there? How do I access all the, who should I be speaking to be able to get going as quick as possible and become, start to add value in the organization?
Now, I've been taken through the processes, paperwork is done, so now I'm literally in the system. The big question then becomes, how do I behave? Do I now relax and say, yes, I have arrived, I have signed on the dotted line, they can't fire me now, I'm in there?
Yeah, no, that's not going to work. So once you've arrived, I think part of how you set up your onboarding process, you need to have a clear strategic plan around what is it that you want to cover, because you don't want to onboard people for the sake of. You need to make sure that your onboarding talks to, what do we expect from you, Thabo? What does your job entail? And where can you access, if it's a system, where do you work, where do you sit, who do you engage with, so that you can start to operate.
Yeah.
And also, it's about talking about the organizational values. How does this organization operate? How do we tick as a company? And also expose you to what we normally take for granted. So things like, where do I go to if I need maybe stationery as an example? Where are those little things are very critical in that orientation process, because the last thing you want to have is someone who's stuck in terms of I don't know how to start, because I've got a laptop, I've got this, but I can't operate who's the IT person that should be assisting me? Who's the operation? So you need to be fully onboarded in the different aspects of the organization, but most importantly, you need to understand, what is this organization that I've just joined? Because the last thing also you want to have is the first few days you're thinking, this is not for me. Where else you've just resigned from the other job.
And that's important, because then the question becomes, who should fit into the culture? Must the culture fit into me, or I must fit into the culture? Because you've got those that are going to sit in their desks, right? This is how I am.
Yeah.
But maybe that particular organization functions differently.
Yeah. For me, it's a two-way process. So as a job seeker, I need to also do my homework. I think gone are those days where you just take up an offer because you're looking for a job and you're desperate, because you're not going to be happy. We want people to take up employment opportunities where they know that, wow, this is me, I can see myself in this organization. But also from an organization point of view, we've got a responsibility to make sure that we educate you and create awareness about who we are. And hence, prior to you coming on board, it's very important, because people can also make a decision that, you know what, thanks for the offer, but no thank you. This is not for me. So it's a two-way stream where I need to do my homework. You can't go there and say, oh, but I didn't know that you are a gaming organization and I don't do gaming. You need to do your homework, and also the employer must also do their homework in terms of, how do we make sure that this employee comes on board, they feel comfortable, we are absolutely honest. So the other thing is being completely honest about what the organization does, what the job is going to entail, and what are those things. Because more often in recruitment, we tend to oversell.
Yeah.
Like,
So
yeah, this
I
amazing
mean,
company.
you're, for example, at reception, you're the interface, you're the face of the organization. I gather your job is not just to answer the phone, print, and connect people. You need, how important is it, maybe shall I say, to know what is happening in the whole entire organization, who reports to who is responsible for what, and how does that help you? Not just maybe as a receptionist, but even in any other department. How important is it that you know your immediate line manager, but who reports to who, and how the whole entire process works?
It's very critical because it comes back to your role. So if I know that I'm an HR manager in this organization, I need to understand the entire, how the organization functions and where the different processes and how we work. Because if I don't understand that, I won't be able to add value, I won't be able to contribute, I will just find myself stuck for a while. And we don't want to employ people and not have them have the autonomy to do what they are employed to do, because they are stuck with, I don't know who's who. Because, yeah, I freeze. I've had an experience where I was scared to ask, and it's a waste of time, it's frustrating, and you end up feeling like, let me just take my bag and leave, because this is just too overwhelming, and people are looking at you, and there's different personalities. It's quite a challenging process. So we need to prepare both from an employee and a new hire point of view.
All right, we'll get some more on this. It's Job Seekers Wednesday on Business Unusual. After the break, we are taking your questions and comments, and we've got the experts here in the studio. Remember, you can engage with us on social media. Ask your questions. Tell us what you think on the social media, as well as a hashtag. Hashtag Business Unusual, and our official handle at 405business_. Stay with us. It's Business Unusual. It's Newsroom Africa, channel 405.